is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
First reading. A reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 32, verses 15 to 24 and 30 to 34. Moses turned and came down the mountain with the 2 tablets of the commandments in his hands, tablets that were written on both sides, front and back, tablets that were made by God, having inscriptions on them that were engraved by God himself. Now when Joshua heard the noise of the people shouting, he said to Moses, "That sounds like a battle in the camp." But Moses answered, "It does not sound like cries of victory, nor does it sound like cries of defeat. The sounds that I hear are cries of revelry." As he drew near the camp, he saw the calf and the dancing. With that Moses' wrath flared up, so that he threw the tablets down and broke them on the base of the mountain. Taking the calf they had made, he fused it in the fire, and then ground it down to powder, which he scattered on the water and made the children of Israel drink. Moses asked Aaron, "What did this people ever do to you that you should lead them into so grave a sin?" Aaron replied, "Let not my Lord be angry. You know well enough how prone the people are to evil. They said to me, 'Make us a god to be our leader.' As for the man Moses, who brought us out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has happened to him." So I told them, "Let anyone who has gold jewelry take it off." They gave it to me, and I threw it into the fire, and this calf came out. On the next day Moses said to the people, "You have committed a grave sin. I will go up to the Lord then. Perhaps I may be able to make atonement for your sin." So Moses went back to the Lord and said, "This people has indeed committed a grave sin in making a god of gold for themselves. If you would only forgive their sin. If you will not, then strike me out of the book that you have written." The Lord answered, "Him only who has sinned against me will I strike out of my book. Now go and lead the people to the place I have told you. My angel will go before you. When it is time for me to punish, I will punish them for their sin." The word of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 13, verses 31 to 35. Jesus proposed a parable to the crowds. "The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that a person took and sowed in a field. It is the smallest of all the seeds, yet when full grown it is the largest of plants. It becomes a large bush, and the birds of the sky come and dwell in its branches." He spoke to them another parable. "The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed with 3 measures of wheat flour until the whole batch was leavened." All these things Jesus spoke to the crowds in parables. He spoke to them only in parables, to fulfill what had been said through the prophet. "I will open my mouth in parables. I will announce what has lain hidden from the foundation of the world." This is the gospel of the Lord.
Good morning to you all. We have come to a new day, a day with lots of graces and blessings of God. To experience these graces, it says that in the world as we live, in the world as we do our work, there are callings from lots of people, for good as well as for bad. Sometimes the happiness people speak of is there with the evil, with bad things. And for that pleasure, for that joy, we like to embrace the evil. That happened to people of Israel. But the Lord makes demands. for good life. And when the demands are there, maybe difficult, maybe that we have to put our sweat. But though we put our sweat, we find everlasting and really giving joy. That happiness, everlasting happiness, always makes life pleasing to God. And God will be happy with us. Therefore, it is like that putting ourselves and forming ourselves into the life of God and giving our own desires into the hand of God. Then, like Moses, we are people in the presence of God, and also we are really people go with good and do good and find joy in the life. It never destructs our life, it never destroys our life, but it raises our life to God. Now in the first reading you will find Moses destroys as people get into unwanted devotion, adoration, because they look for pleasure for own goodness. They embrace unwanted gods. But we, the people who go with God, embrace God, embrace Jesus, and do everything for our joy, for our happiness, just making Jesus also happy, making Jesus also pleasing for our behavior, for our action. So let's go with such actions, bring joy to the world, and have happiness in our life. May you have blessings of God. May you have graces of Jesus, so your life will be with all happiness right through your journey in this day, throughout this day. God bless you all.